Hi everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me here today. Thursday on the mountain here in Costa Rica, which means it's almost getting close to time for market time again this week, which is always exciting for me. I'm going to share something with you today, just a little personal observation of mine. I bought a watermelon yesterday, not very big, might have shown it on something, I can't remember, about bowling ball size. Well, I cut that this morning and I ate half of it. Not a lot, half of a watermelon, and I got to doing stuff and working and whatever, and got a little distracted, and I cut up a big fruit bowl, went outside and I did a live on Instagram. Well, as I was sitting there eating that, I just couldn't hardly, I was like forcing the fruit in my mouth. Just that way, and I think I'd waited. I mean, I don't know exactly how long I waited. I'd probably waited at least an hour, if not an hour and a half, but I guess I had that melon belly thing. I've never really experienced that before, and it was so little. I don't generally get any kind of bloating or whatever, but as I kept trying to force myself to eat, and I'm like, okay, it's time to stop. You don't need to do this. So I just put the fruit away and said, okay, just let this settle down a little bit. But I've never had to deal with that before. But all right, today I want to talk about how to transition to the raw, low-fat, raw vegan diet. I do videos like this every day, so if you're not already subscribed, I'd appreciate if you'd go ahead and hit that subscribe button now, click on the little bell, and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. I get a little tongue-tied there. I caught myself right in the middle. I had another thought, and my brain was divided. Are you going to say this first or this first? The reason about the low fat, the reason I added low fat in there instead of just transitioning to the raw vegan lifestyle as many do, is because I kind of want to talk about it from that approach, to transitioning to raw, but also to kind of have that mentality of not anything goes, just to stay raw or to get to raw, and to start thinking about low fat, early on in the game. Now, when I say low fat, don't people freak out. I'm not even, I mentioned yesterday when I was talking about something low fat, and I even mentioned 80-10-10. I'm not even trying to limit people. Like, I'm not limiting people anywhere, but I'm just saying, even if you're not staying at 10%, just don't get into that mentality that's uber fat with so many nuts and so much added overt fat in there, Even if you're getting up 12 and 15%, you're doing okay, but shoot for that. I want to read something. I wrote it down as I was making some notes for this, and I believe this 100%, and I think you need to hear this. If you're thinking about transitioning, or you really, really need to hear this, if you've been struggling, playing around on this lifestyle for some time now. A thought-out, planned transition is the quickest, most efficient way to get to the highest version of raw that you seek. See, notice I'm not even saying you're trying to get up to fully or 100% raw, however far you want to go, but let me read that again slowly. A thought-out, planned transition is the quickest, most efficient way to get to the highest version of raw that you seek, period. A lot of times I don't see any argument with that. You have to plan out your transition, and so many people aren't doing that. They're not doing that. And I want to just mention right now too, as I'm doing this video, I've got some good I think some pretty decent playlists where I try to group things together that will help people in different circumstances. So if you go to my channel and check out my playlist, and I'll try to add it here, there's a transition playlist for you, and I will add this video to that. I see people trying to do this lifestyle all the time. I'm going to tell you another strong opinion of mine that a lot of people will disagree about. You're going to probably get to and there's exceptions, but this dabbling and trying to do this lifestyle for 2 and 3 years, most likely by the numbers, if you go by what most people are, the people that are going to make it and aren't, most people are going to get to their furthest version of raw within a year to a year and a half, because it's a mentality. If you do a planned transition, it's not going to really take you any longer than that. And the reason I'm saying you won't go further, some people won't go further, is they're always going to yo-yo back and forth. They're never going to, they're not going to take the advice to do a well-planned thought out transition and take the time they need to do. So they're going to constantly yo-yo. They're going to fail. They're going to cry. They're going to start all over. They're going to yo-yo in their weight. They're going to yo-yo in their health. They're going to go back and forth. And when they fall off their version of raw, they're going to go nuts on the fat, because that's what people tend to do. They tend to compensate the guilt with going all the other way. But all they really have to do, listen, if you're not going to take the time, if you haven't been successful, or if you failed on this lifestyle, whatever failing means to you, yeah, you're not going to get there. You're not going to just kind of keep hanging around the groups. You're not going to keep watching videos and it's just going to seep in by osmosis. If you don't become an active participant in the process, move on to the next thing. And that's just kind of a life hack right there. If you're not an active participant in whatever processes or things you're trying to do, you're mostly just wasting time. Stuff doesn't just bam happen. You don't just kind of hang around. You don't eat a couple of pieces of fruits and vegetables and bam, one day all the cravings are gone and that's all you want. You work your way, you work your way, you work your way. And something else that I should mention too that I had down here is, don't be proud. Don't be afraid to be too basic. Don't be afraid to take a bunch of steps back and start over again from the very beginning. I'm just trying to remember one little thing I had in my notes there. And then some people, listen, some people are going to look at this and they're going to be like, I don't need a plan. And they will succeed. There's going to be some people that try this lifestyle and they need a plan, but they don't have to have a detailed plan. They've got kind of a rough idea of like, okay, I'm gonna drop the animal products. I'm gonna drop if they're trying to go from SAD to raw vegan, just vegan to raw vegan, that's a different story. But like I say, you can have either a loose plan, and that'll work for some people. I'm not saying everybody has to have a detailed, okay, I'm gonna do this on day one, or I'm gonna do this every week, but you have a plan about kind of how you're gonna drop the animal products, how you're gonna work more raw fruits and vegetables, more of whole plant foods in general into your diet. And you just kind of have an idea of your progression. Like, yeah, probably, you know, I think I can kick the animal products fairly quickly, and then I'll start working on more and more raw. But if you have not had success on this lifestyle, or if you're the kind of person that works best with detail, break it down as far as you need to for your personality, for what works for you. If you have to break it down week by week, like this is what I'm going to work on week one. Week one on the raw vegan lifestyle, transitioning to the low-fat raw vegan lifestyle. I'm going to just work on this one specific thing. And that makes people feel good sometimes. You know, I don't have a pen here, but you can have it like that. You can have week one, and you know, you could be so detailed, you've got week one. And each week you can make a nice little check. And that's psychologically good for people as we feel like we're making progress, you know, like as we check things off, or like, okay, week one, this is my plan for week one. It's a very small thing, but I did it. Boom, at the end of the week, you feel good about yourself. You're ready to move on. You set new goals. And then on week two, you're doing this. So you can get as detailed with it as you want to. And I would highly encourage you to do that if that's what is necessary to you. Don't pay so much attention to how other people are doing it. Just work on your process. Well, pay attention to a lot of different people, see a lot of different ways, a lot of different processes, but you got to make it work for you. And you know how. Like this, like I say, these are little life hacks on how to learn anything. Don't take on too much too soon. That's one of the biggest problems I see people trying. It's ego. I'm doing some meditation work on ego these days. As humans, we're so caught up in ego. It's just like that ego telling you, well, I can do it. I'm the exception. I can go raw overnight. I can get on the fast track. And some people can, but some people can't. So, you know, be realistic with yourself. This is something that you're doing. This is not a diet. This isn't just some kind of quick, I'm going to do a diet for 6 weeks to lose weight. Think of this as long term, and get out of this hurry mentality. Get out of this mentality of impatience with a good plan. Think about where you want to be in 2 years from now. And don't even think about like how fast. Just think it like 2 years is a fairly long time, but it's not a long time. So in other words, just don't get caught up into this, I have to see the results. You know, I say, oh God, that drives me nuts either when I see a comment on a video or somebody talking in a forum about they've been doing something 2 weeks and they're not getting exactly what they think they're supposed to be, or maybe they haven't adjusted to the diet and they're like, you know, ready to move on to the next thing. And then finally, I'll just throw in there what I do in all my videos on transition, the journal. And also too, if you watch this transition playlist that I'm telling you about, there's going to be a lot of repetition in there. I'll tell you straight up, but repetition is good. A lot of times we need to hear things over and over and over for them to sink into our brain. And a lot of times we need to hear things in a different way for them to sink into our brain. I know that's worked for me a number of times in yoga, where you've done something over and over and over. You go to a different teacher, she says something just in a different way, and it clicks. It's the same thing with this. But with the journal, that'll help you a lot with your plan in your transition, because if you're not happy with, too much down the road, you don't think you're getting the results you should be getting, something doesn't make sense to you, whatever, it's there in black and white. You don't have to our brains try to trick us, whether we can even, they just generally can't hold that much memory and we forget things, or they try to recreate things and we try to tell ourselves, well, I didn't eat as bad as I thought I did. And we say, well, I've been eating all raw for this amount of time and I'm not seeing any results. Whereas if they were writing things down, they would probably be able to go, but yeah, oh, there's a culprit right there. They can go back, it's in black and white. There is no ifs, ands, and buts about it. Just like I read that statement right there, it would just be like, if you said, you never read that statement, or that statement's not on that piece of paper. It's right here, so it's in black and white, I can see it. Same thing with your food journal. You'll be able to get a lot of information with that food journal on your own. You'll be able to hone your diet just by sitting down at the end of the week, or just regular basis with it, and make a little adjustments because you've got the data right there. But to end this video, do whatever you've got to do. Do whatever you got to do. There's a lot of approaches out there. That's why I'm always just trying to throw it from a different way. There's no new information out there. There's no new information. There's just a different way of saying it, different little thing that might spark somebody here and there. But yeah, if you're if you want to do the raw vegan lifestyle and you want it to be long-term and you want to be healthy with it, do it in a sensible approach. Take your time, make a plan, and you'll get there. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you again tomorrow, Friday, end of the week. I'm sure a lot of you guys are happy, huh? Peace.